All right. All right. I think we're live. Today, we're going to talk about how the Model S, it's finally happening. The Tesla Model S is starting to crash. And I got some data to show you with the auctions, of course, to show this crazy price dip in this past week at the auction data. And I think I actually got out at a pretty good time. So we'll talk about my experience on that and what price I was able to actually get out for my Model S and what price I'm looking for to see if it can get down to that range. I might be interested in another Model S and kind of what your strategy or my strategy would be if I was interested in getting another Tesla or especially a Tesla Model S. But today on the schedule right here, we're going to go through to current values or prices of the Tesla Model S long range or the regular version and the Plaid. What auction values, of course, are this past week for the Tesla Model S, and just really show that recent price crash or price dip or even price correction, right? The used car market for Tesla Model S and what it's currently at and what I predict is most likely going to happen in the next few months. So as we round out the end of the year in Q4, my current strategy for a Tesla or even the Tesla Model S, and of course Q&A throughout it. If you want to ask any questions about Tesla, or if you want to ask at the end, we'll reserve a little bit of time for that at the end of it as well. But today we're going to talk about the Tesla Model S only. I did a live stream about the Tesla Model Y yesterday if you want to check out that video. And then I also did a Model 3 version a couple days before that. But today is Tesla Model S only, the current market, strategy, auction, and everything that goes along with that. But before we get into it, Optimum Gaming, let's go ahead and answer your question. Is there a way to get, let's see, right here, boom. Let's see, does that work? Oh, shoot. How come that work like really easily? Okay, well, Optimum Gaming, is there a way to get a Tesla loan for my mom if she is on Social Security? I think that's income technically, so it should be fine. Like banks just wanted to make sure that you have income coming in to be able to pay it. So that should be fine, but don't quote me on that. I actually have no idea about Social Security and other forms of income like that. They'll probably just want like 20% down and then you'll be able to show some deposits. Yeah, I'm actually not exactly too sure. You might have to Google that one. Sorry, I can't help you there. Just talk to a finance manager at a dealership, or just talk to Tesla Financing, see what they have any thoughts or questions on that. And if you can't buy it under your mom, Tesla will transfer reservations to family members, especially immediate family members only. They won't actually transfer it to anybody else. Does a Model 3 rear-wheel drive qualify for the federal rebate? You're probably talking about the $7,500 tax rebate. My perception of it is that it does not look like it's going to qualify. It does not qualify today. We should hear some more information in the next few months from Tesla on whether it's going to qualify starting on January 1st. But they took away the long-range version from ordering off the website. So I'm really not sure exactly what's going to happen, but it doesn't look good. And it looks like if you watch my video yesterday on the Model Y, it looks like only one Tesla might actually qualify for the Tesla rebate, and it's not the Model 3 wheel-wheel drive, which I was really bummed out because I really want that one to be able to be qualified. But okay, so we're going to get into the Tesla Model S values. But of course, before we get into that, today's video or live stream is sponsored by my Tesla coaching call. You can schedule on the Calendly link down below in the description. It's a quick 15-minute call. And we can go over any questions on buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or if you have any questions on financing, if you're confused or you don't know what to do. You'll also get access to my PDF buying guide, which gives you all the links on buying and selling and financing, and of course, as well as some bonus links like where to get the cheapest insurance and some other cool data-centric stuff as well regarding Tesla and even buying cars. So you can schedule a call down below in the description through a Calendly. And we can go on from there. But before we get into the values, let's just go quickly over how much a Tesla Model S and a Tesla Model S Plaid actually is today. And it is expensive. Spoiler alert. A regular Model S long range, but I guess they just call it a Model S now. I've been calling it a long range for a while. And that's actually the version that I had. I had a Tesla Model S for 4 months. I bought it in March and I just sold it earlier this month. I think I just hit it right on the mark in terms of the sweet spot of getting out of the market. But a Model S starts at $105,000 and a Model S Plaid is $136,000. What's interesting here is that if you want to order a Model S Plaid, you'll get it this year basically. You'll get it next month, because what we'll go through in a little bit later on in today, there's a lot of Model S Plaid inventory right now, especially as we move into the last month of this quarter. But Model S, this is the version to get. My recommendation, it's the best value. I'm not sure if it's the best value at 105, but it was the best value when you can get in like the 90 to 100 range. But starting at $105,000, that's before you get into any paint colors, any rims. I had the basic 19-inch rims, which was because it was my daily driver. But if you want to even go with the 21-inch arachnid rims, that's almost $5,000, $4,500. So absolutely insane. And getting the white interior adds another $2,000. Never get full self-driving. It's not a bargain at $12,000. It wasn't a bargain at $6,000. It's definitely not worth a full $15,000. But ordering it this way, you're getting it in October to January of next year. And unfortunately, the Model S does not qualify for the tax credit at all. So it's not even worth it to try and even wait that game or to see if it's even possible to get into that. But so the Tesla Model S, I also think, just like the Model Y, is it's at its price cap. I don't think it's worth over $100,000 for the long range or the regular range. And I think it really needs to go back to under $100K to be even worth it to get more sales. And I'll go through a spreadsheet on why I think that's probably where we're probably seeing a lot less orders for the Model S, but only Tesla can really answer that question. But my first indicator is right here. There's no longer a 6 to 7 month or even a year-long wait. It's you're going to get it in a month to 2 months, and most likely you're going to get it this year because Tesla is going to want to squeeze those sales for this year to try and get a bunch of deliveries. So the next thing is we're going to get into the auction data or even some price trends of the current Model S and why I actually think it's crashing. But before we do that, let's get into some questions. Optimum Gaming, my SA told me my order has been soft matched. What does that mean in terms of my delivery timetable? I actually have no idea what does soft match mean. Do you have a VIN? Because VIN is really the only thing that actually matters. Don't apply for any sort of financing or whatever until you actually get the VIN. And the VIN, once you get the VIN, you're probably a week or 2 weeks out, or even like a 3 to 4 weeks out, depending on your location. If you're on the East Coast, it's probably 4 weeks out. But if you're on the West Coast, you're probably a couple weeks out. But I've never heard of soft match. I think they just might be telling you that so they get off their back or something. RCD, how much did you sell your Model S for? I have yet to make a video on that. I've got all the footage and B-roll and A-roll kind of filmed out, but we can kind of go over that in a little bit because I'll show you who I actually sold it to. It was a dealer here in California, and we can talk about a little bit on what price point I got out because I think I hit the sweet spot entirely for this. But let's go into why I think Tesla Model S prices are crashing, or why I know it's crashing. Car Gurus, which has a really cool part of their site where they can see Model S price trends. This is all Model S. And you can see in the past 30 days for all different models and versions, it's dropping. The most severe one is almost 3% for a 2017 model, which is kind of weird. But a 2022 model, Tesla Model S, is dropping 2.58% in the past 30 days and almost 5%, 4.54% in the past 90 days. And of course, this could be seasonality with people going back to school. It could also be because 2022 Tesla Model S is ending its model year, and a 23 Model S is coming out in November, even December, most likely January. So that does have an effect on it, but the 22 Tesla Model S is crashing. And this next screen is where you actually see it more pretty severe. So this is Manheim, which is a dealer auction in which dealers sell to each other So the second dealer, the dealers that are buying it, can hopefully flip it and sell it to a customer. And right now we have it put in at 2022 Tesla Model S, just the long range. And down here, let me move my little, yeah, actually, you guys can see it. Down here is where we're seeing the price correction or dip. You can see all the way back to early of August, August 8th of this month. It was at 101. There was another one at 101, 2,000 miles. Another one with only 138 miles sold for 100. But before all this, it's kind of cut off. When I sold mine, it was in August, I think August 5th, give or take. And there was a bunch of sales within the 100 to even 104 to 105. And now it is starting to crash. It looks like none of these out of the past like 8 that have sold this past week, or the 4 or 5, none of these are over 100 except this one for some reason, but that's a red one. So I can see maybe that's a little bit more in demand because you don't really see a lot of red ones, of course, because it's a $2,000 price option, a color option. But all these 95,000 with 5,500 miles, 98,000 with 2,500 miles. We are now headed into the 99s. And this is actually kind of funny because when I tried to sell my Tesla Model S in early August, I think August 5th, I went to 4 dealers that day, one including CarMax. They gave me an appraisal of 95,000, which of course I didn't take. I went to my usual dealer that I sold my Model Y to, and they gave me 99,000. They wouldn't even budge to 100,000 at all. And the third and final dealer I sold it to, which I'll show you in the end, they actually gave me a pretty good price, and we'll talk about how much I sold to them for and how much they're actually trying to resell it, which hopefully they'll make a little bit of money, but it's starting to look a little scary, especially when 2023 Tesla Model S's start to come into the market probably in the next 3 months. So they probably have another month or two, but there's a lot of new Tesla Model S inventory that just popped up. So that's definitely going to affect the used car market for used Model S's. So let's get back into the questions. Is it true, Optimum Gaming, is it true that non-popular color choices for Tesla gets delivered faster? I picked red for this reason. Yes. Well, it's not necessarily non-popular color. It's because it's more expensive. The more you pay for options, colors, rims, and interior, the most likely you're going to get it quicker because they want that higher revenue bump, unless there's a shortage or something like that. Especially if you add full self-driving. If you add the $12,000 full self-driving, you're going to get it probably the quicker than anybody else, because that's just a straight revenue drop down to their bottom line. So it's definitely worth it for them. So yeah, this is the auction values for the dealers that are selling back to back. This is getting super interesting. We might start to see some Model S's in the low 90s, which would be really interesting because going back to it, a brand new Model S regular version is 105,000. So if someone were to buy one of these, a base one with white with black interior, base rims, they're out the door like $112,000. They're immediately losing money if they had to trade out of it or do something. So they're just immediately losing money on this. This, of course, is just for the regular Tesla Model S. Let's go to the Plaid just to take a look. And kind of the same story. The Model S Plaid has been an interesting one because even though you can buy a brand new one for $136,000 with all the options and maybe even more with taxes and fees, they've always kind of trended under in terms of what you had to, if you had to sell it for at the auction. But I think the reason why is I think people or buyers that are buying that type of price range vehicle, they're not necessarily as conscious, or they don't care necessarily as much. They just want to dump it and get into their next toy, like maybe a Mercedes EQS or something. So they don't really care how much they're getting for it. And so the market for this has been pretty interesting. And if you are interested in a Model S Plaid, there's some deals out there that we'll take a look at the end of this, including a data point that someone on Twitter, another Tesla enthusiast, bought a Model S Plaid that I think is probably the best deal so far within these past few months. But you can get some deals on Tesla Model S Plaids, and there's actually some available for sale that are used or even new. Echo 6, hi Dennis. Are you looking into Teslas? Are you looking into Teslas? Are there any things consumers should look out when looking for pre-owned Teslas? And then is there a significance between model years? Yes, so it definitely depends on which model, of course, you're getting. So like Model Y or Model 3. If you're getting Model S or Model X, then you can Google like which year Model X or S to buy, because there's variances within each year. They added certain features, they took away packages and stuff like that. But between like Model 3 or Model Y, I would recommend the later years as possible, because the build quality, you can really feel the difference each year. Like, because I had a 2019 Model 3 and then I got a 2021 Model Y, and I could feel the difference in build quality between those two models in years. And Tesla just elevates the game year after year in terms of quality as they move forward. But let's take a look at the used car market from Teslas and see what's out there. I basically pulled up all 2022 Tesla Model S's and then sorted by lowest price. And this is where it gets interesting. The cheapest one in the whole country for a Model S base is $101,995. And there's a ton of them in this price range, in that low hundreds. And so why would anybody buy a used one when they can get a brand new one if they wanted a base, or if they wanted to spec it exactly how they want it, and not have to wait too long? They only have to wait a couple months to actually get it. So why would they pay a little bit of a premium or a little bit of a discount but not exactly get what they want? And some of these have really high miles for a Model S, like almost 5,000 miles, 3,600 miles there, 11,000 miles for $103,000. Hopefully they didn't pay a lot of money for this, but this is interesting because it's a Kia dealership. So I wonder if someone traded in a Model S for an EV6. Interesting switch. I mean, I guess styling wise, it looks interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of used Model S's in the market. I would say 2022 versions, 118 across the country. And I don't think there's that many buyers for the Model S, to be honest. So going back to, I think, let's see, someone asked, RCD asked, how much did I sell my Model S for? So I sold my Model S to STG Auto Group in Bellflower. This was like my fourth dealer stop that day to try and sell my car. And this is my exact Tesla Model S, my 2022 Tesla Model S. I had 5,600 miles on it. So I definitely drove it for a bit. I didn't just go ahead and buy it and then flip it for super quick. I thought I was going to keep it for a year, but I just had to sell it for other reasons. But I did tints. All around on it. Shout out to Jason at OC Tint Solutions. Fantastic work. He did 50% on the front and like 20% on the sides, like ceramic tint. It was amazing. And of course, I did ceramic coating all around as well. That was definitely some cool work as well. I got it done from, I had it usually here. My memory is so bad these days, but I made a video on it, so if you want to check it out, 24K Shine, that's what it was. So 24K Shine, super great work, super great pricing. I made a full video on that as well if you want to check it out, but they did a fantastic job, especially with the Geon ceramic. But to answer your question, RCD, I knew that was a long way of getting there. I sold my Tesla Model S with 5,600 miles I sold it to them for 101. And they had this originally priced at 107. I think it was like 108, so 107,999, and now they've dropped it to 107. And I sold to them 3 to 4 weeks ago. So this one is definitely iffy. If I had this in my inventory and I was trying to sell it, might be a little get antsy. I want to say that 30 to 60 day mark, but STG is good. It's a good group. I think they'll definitely do fine. They should be able to transact at this car. I mean, looking at these markets for the other ones, these are across the country, of course, but let's try and reduce this down. They should be able to sell my car for 103 or 4, maybe even 102. So they'll make a little bit of money depending on if they did a lot of work. But definitely interesting with the Model S market. And really the question is, are there buyers out there that want to buy brand new or even slightly used Teslas? And what price are they willing to pay? Because if we had to go back to the car market before all this craziness, when cars would go over MSRP used, realistically, if I was a Model S buyer and I knew I could get a brand new Model S for 105, of course with taxes, tags, and fees, everything within a few months, I feel like I would want to pay 10% less. I mean, or maybe even 20% less for a used one, depending on how many miles. But that's just me. What do you guys think in the comments or in the chat? Like, what realistically, if a brand new 1-year-old or even 6-month-old car, what's fair to pay in normal market? I would say at least 10% less for the same model year, maybe even 20% less for a year after. So this is really what I'm looking for. For a used Tesla, the Tesla Model S has completely changed my perspective on electric vehicles and even Tesla vehicles specifically. I don't know if I could get back into another Model 3 or Model Y, just because the suspension, I always had some gripes with it. It was certainly rough, I would say, and the Model S and also the Model X with the air suspension completely changed my perspective. So I think if I had to get back into a Tesla, I'm going to start looking at the used Model S's and wait to see once this correction happens. And I'm pretty sure it's going to happen this year, maybe November or December. If not, definitely by January, because January is always historically a slower car month and people don't buy cars after Christmas. But what I want is I would want a 2021 refreshed or a 2022 Model S. And I think the price to pay is around $80K or maybe even high 70s. Of course, as I say that and bring this up, there's going to be no matches of that at all. But if we were to follow some of these trends, that's what the price is going to get to. And it's going to get there very, very soon. Because if you look at the 2020 Tesla Model S's, they're in the high 80s right now. As we move into the next year and as demand starts to go down for these high, expensive Tesla cars, the prices are going to go down. That's for sure. So I would say if you were in the market for a used one, I would try and target that mid 80s for a 2021 or a 2022 Tesla Model S long range. And that's exactly where I would price and try and get it at. Going back to the comments, RCD, sweet deal, nice 21K profit, congrats. It wasn't exactly 21K, it was actually closer to because my out the door was like 87K in some change. And then of course I did tints, ceramic, and so I was probably a little closer to 10K profit. And of course I did drive it and paid insurance on it for the good amount of months I did. So it wasn't 100% 21K profit, but still amazing and a great opportunity for me to be able to drive the car, experience it, put 6,000 miles on it, and then sell it without losing too much money. So that was really cool. And now it's completely changed my perspective on Tesla Model S's. Definitely a cool car, and I would recommend it if you can, of course, afford it and pay for it, because it is an expensive car. It's an expensive car for me at 80K. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't know I was going to be able to get in and out without losing too much money. So Tesla Model S inventory. This is the first part because we're going to go look at Tesla.com. There's another source that I have that we can go through, but this is where some of the deals are going to be. These, of course, are all used ones. But there was a deal on here a couple weeks ago that a Twitter user, I think she's a Tesla influencer or a Twitter poster as well. This is the deal she actually got. Quote, I stole this 2022 Tesla Model S Plaid with FSD, full self-driving. Could not pass a deal like this. Thank you, Tesla. And I could not agree more. She was able to get a 2022 Tesla Model S Plaid with 8,000 miles in California. So she was probably closer to that for $119,000, $119,500. And it came with full self-driving, which I believe at the time when she posted this, full self-driving was $12,000. So she could probably remove that if she wanted to. And that would mean she would have a 2022 Plaid for close to $108,000, which is absolutely insane, which this probably had an original MSRP of 140. I mean, we can take a look. So this is a price tracker that I have that goes and looks and tracks all the different prices for Tesla Model S as well as the X, the 3, all the prices. And you can see that the Plaid, when it first came out, started at 135. No, sorry, 140. No, okay, so yeah. So it started at 135, actually went down. No, this isn't right. I think it was like around here. Okay, Plaid 10K, end of Plaid Plus. Okay, so the Plaid started at 130 and then went up to 136. Okay, so I actually thought it was like 150, but maybe I'm just thinking that's the Model X. So 135, maybe 130. Definitely that person paid 100. I mean, they probably put their order in around 130 and then took delivery and then sold it. But let's say they got it for 130 and now this person was able to buy it for essentially 108. That's, I don't know, what's quick math on that? 130 minus 108, 22,000 divided by 130. That's a 17% decrease in price or value over the course of less than a year, or maybe even a year. So that's exactly what, if you're targeting to buy a used Tesla, you should try and target a 17% decrease if you can. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but I think it's going to happen. I'm for sure that Teslas, especially the Model S, are going to crash or dip in the next few months. And we're going to see it a lot more severe in the Model S and especially the Model X. And then I think the Model Y, but the 3 not so much, because of it's just a more inexpensive Tesla and more people can afford a Model 3 versus the other models. Yeah, so this was a steal. This person bought it straight from Tesla off their Tesla used inventory. So a nice hit for Jillian. She was able to get a great, fantastic deal for that. Another source in why I think, Another source in why I think the Tesla demand is starting to falter away or disappear. So this is the Tesla Motors Club. This is a forum where a lot of owners post, and there's a whole section about ordering, production, and delivery. And depending on your location or depending on what you've ordered, you can actually join the discussion with a lot of other owners, and they start to post like when they got their VIN, when they took delivery, I took pictures today, and all that stuff. And in this forum, there is a tracker where customers or other users like yourself will put it in their VINs and orders and order numbers, and they'll even put in where they're at, what location they're at, when they ordered, and their confirmation date, and of course when they got the VIN, and if they follow up, they'll put in their delivery as well. There's other versions just like this for Model 3 and Model Y, but this is something that is super interesting on this page. So if you look and you scroll back, last year, June, July, August, there was a ton of people that ordered and put in their information in this log, which is a weird way of kind of showing demand, but the more users are, there's always going to be a percentage that go onto these forums and do this kind of stuff. So I don't know, call it like 10 to 20% of the actual owners. But as you can see, this year, there's not as many people, especially going to last month and even August or May. There's not that many people that are trying to put their information in here and track their orders along with everybody else. Of course, this is not a 100% foolproof indicator of the demand, but this is a slight sliver of what that there's just less people interested in Model S's and there's less people interested in buying Model S's. And of course, this is exactly around that time frame when Tesla raised their price. It used to be $80,000 base for a Tesla Model S and 120. They both raised both prices for the regular version and the Plaid, almost 30, like 20, 25 grand, from 80,000 up to 105. And I think that is the price cap. I don't think there's value in that. I think it's too high, and people are ordering less and less for the Model S. That from my viewpoint here. The other thing that was really interesting, there's a really cool site called If You're Waiting for Your Tesla and you've already have your order in, you're kind of locked in with that order, but Tesla has inventory cards. It's a little known secret where Tesla will sell inventory cards or inventory demos. Some of them have discounts, most of them have miles, but this is a cool way to check and see inventory tracker out there. This is hosted by a third-party site, third-party owner, but you can actually go through some of these models. You're not going to see any in the Model 3, Model Y, or Model X currently because there is still demand. In this next month, which is the end of this quarter, September, we're going to see a lot more Model Ys and Model 3s. You can start clicking here and see. This is like a quick tip and secret, but I actually looked at the Model S and pulled it up, and there's a 75 brand new Model S's that are new available for sale. So if this isn't an indicator of lack of demand, I'm not sure what is. So there's a ton of Tesla Model S's available right now that you can get. And let's just go through some of these. Like, of course, this first one in Hawaii, we'll take a look to see if there's anything that looks interesting or what might be a good deal. These are all brand new Tesla Model S's that have not been titled, so you get the full warranty and the full everything. But you see some of these only have like 12 miles, 15 miles. But let's just take, whoa, 2021 Model S Plaid. Okay, so this is I don't understand. A brand new 2021 only has 98 miles, so it's in the Bay Area, Colma. It's a Plaid, and it's got a $7,800 discount. What is going on with this one? So previous year, and it's got full self-driving for another $12K, so you can get it for $134,000. But I don't think this is a crazy discount, but I don't think it's enough discount. I think it needs to be like 20 to 30K discount because you're already 2 years old at this point. Once we're in the 2023 model years coming out soon. So you're 2 years old and you only really have maybe that's like 6%, 5% discount. This needs to be 20K. I mean, it's really low miles, which is really nice, but if they want to sell this, they need to bump this to 15K just to see if there's any action. But this one, that's the most interesting one on this list so far. That's for sure. Some of these other ones, Plaid. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Plaids are super expensive at $136,000. Okay, here's another Plaid. Slight discount, a $520 discount on only 11 miles located in Texas. It's a brand new demo. For some reason, it's a demo, but it only has 11 miles on it. But brand new 2022. This one would be okay. I mean, it's a Plaid, so if you're hell-bent on getting a Plaid Model S, a $520 discount isn't, too bad. It's actually kind of worthless. I would just get a brand new one if you're going to spend that much money. Looking down here, there isn't to seem to be anything else that looks interesting. Okay, here's another demo, 3 miles on it, no discount, another Plaid. So it seems like there's a bunch of Plaids, which that makes sense. $140,000 sedan, I don't think makes sense, especially when you can get the same exact car without the speed for what, $20,000 less. It's definitely a hard pill to swallow, I would say. Okay, so these are pretty much all Plaids, which makes sense. That's why there's so many available. I don't think there's any long ranges on here. Okay, here's another one with a $320 discount. Nothing special there. Another $2,000 discount. Nothing special there. Yeah, the only one that was kind of interesting was that one that had like a $7,500 discount, but of course that was a 2021, which is not worth it in my opinion. Yeah, so I don't think I saw a long range one. Did any of you guys see that? Let's see. We can filter down, of course, to okay, brand new 2022. Red with black in Hawaii. Okay, that first one, I guess. So there is a long range one or a regular one available for $112,000. And the reason why it's so expensive is because you have the red color paint and the rims. But definitely not worth it in my opinion. But yeah, this is basically everything on why I think the Tesla Model S market is going to start to correct itself. It already is with the auction data. But this is, of course, the Plaid. We're already starting to see regular Tesla Model S's transact in the mid to high 90s. This is going to quickly go down to the low 90s, maybe even high 80s, and that will start to reflect into the used car market. So if you can wait, if you're interested in a Model S long range and you're interested in purchasing one, if you can wait till December or January, that's when the deals will start to happen on a Model S. But yeah, if you're confused about buying a Tesla, had questions on financing or even where to sell your Tesla to try and make some money, you can actually schedule a call with me down below in the description below with my Calendly link. It's a quick 15-minute call. We can discuss any questions you have, and you'll also get my buying guide at the end, which goes through a bunch of resources that I have with buying, of course, buying, selling, or even financing a Tesla. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please hit that like if you enjoyed it. this stream. I'll stick around for a couple more seconds. If you have any questions, you want to put it in the chat. If you want to support my drives or support the channel, there's a buy a coffee link down below in the description. You can support my drives by buying me an iced coffee. That's what I usually like to get. Sorry for the mess back out here. You can see Steve right here just hanging out tonight. But sorry for the mess. We are going to be moving soon, so I wanted to quickly get on stream to talk about the Model S market. I'm going to do a Model X version of this tomorrow or maybe the day after. But tomorrow for sure, we're going to do a collab stream with Sam Su. He's a personal finance and stock market, stock market analysis person. And we're going to go over, the stream we're going to go over is super interesting. And the title that we're thinking about is, should you buy an EV now or wait for the electric vehicle credit? Because not a lot of people are talking about the details of the electric vehicle tax credit that is about to roll out. And there really isn't a lot of details either. But there's a little known secret where people haven't researched yet. But I don't think a lot of vehicles are going to make it. A lot of vehicles don't make it now. And a lot of vehicles are not going to qualify next year. And there might be only one vehicle that we'll talk about on the stream tomorrow that will actually qualify. And even that doesn't even qualify completely. So it's going to be a really interesting stream. Sam's going to, of course, bring some data as he always does. He does a lot of research going into the bill manufacturing of where all these batteries come from. But it's going to be a super interesting stream tomorrow, probably tomorrow at like 5 p.m. PST for that. Last question here. We got John. Let's hope the Model X doesn't have this issue. Sorry to burst your bubble, but the Model X is definitely going to have this issue, and it's going to be even more severe, I think, just because it's an expensive SUV. The only thing I think, and we'll talk about this on Monday probably when I do a Model X version of this, the only thing I think that's going to save the Model X is it's a business SUV. And so business owners will be able to write off 100% this year. But if we go into next year, that goes down to 80% depreciation write-off. And so you're already starting to see it with some big SUVs that in the past year or 6 months have commanded high markups. One being the G-Wagon. It used to be a 100K markup. Now, if you know where to look, you can get MSRP or even a 15 to 20 to 30K over MSRP pretty easily on in-stock vehicles. But that might ramp up later this year as we get toward that tax business SUV time, because business owners have to buy an SUV or a Model X before the end of the year for taxes. But it's definitely going to correct itself, and it actually already has for the Model X. But John, if you have a Model X, great car. I'm jealous. I want a Model X. My plan is to try and eye that market too, and maybe get one for hopefully cheap, but I don't think so, because there's going to be a lot of demand even for the cheap ones, because that's kind of the meta of choice for Tesla SUVs. All right, guys, that's basically it. I think I went over everything. Model S, auction values, used car market, strategy. My strategy is to kind of wait for the Model S's to get into that mid 80 range. If I can get another 2022 Model S for 80, that would be sick. I think that would be hilarious, and I would try and keep that one for as long as possible, because it's a great car. I love the air suspension. They checked off a lot of boxes, and I'm going to make a video about selling it and my experience and how much the actual profit I made on all of that. But yeah, thanks for watching the stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.